also alluded to the fact that it can allow smaller parties to get some support as well, because people know they can express their values and say, look, this smaller party actually really represents what I want to be stood for. But if that person doesn't win, then they still know, okay, well, this other party, perhaps they've got a better chance of winning. I'd rather have them than the other people, but I want to send that message that actually the values that I support are the values of that smaller party. So I think it helps to not only represent people's wishes, but it also helps broaden the spectrum of political debate, because it allows people to sort of give effect to what they really want, rather than just what they're forced to settle on with just one choice. So I'm very pleased that we have a preferential system. I think it's good for democracy, and it's good for plurality in democracy. I mean, it's a big decision to make, and every nation gets to make that decision for themselves. How do they want to choose the people that speak for them and represent them in Parliament? So I don't think, Australia could ever tell other countries how they should run their own nations, but I think it's important that community members get to make that decision about how their own parliaments operate. So if that's something that the Korean people wanted and were interested in knowing more about, and could if they felt that would better represent their values, and I think that's a decision that the Korean people should be able to make, and should be able to ask their parliaments to make that the way voting happens. I think, yes, you're right that it can be noisy, but I think that's democracy from as I've experienced it. You allow people that choice of, do they want this random tiny person to represent them? And maybe I don't support their views, but people get to make their own decisions about who they want to represent them, and I like that there's that choice. And I think it's positive that you have quite a large spectrum. We've got a by-election happening at the moment, for example, on Saturday in the Gold Coast, and I think there's 16 candidates or something. There's some very large field, and really there's only a handful of people that have a chance of winning. But the people who are voting can still say, well, I like the values of this person, but I want this person to actually take the seat. So they can send a message as well as ensuring that their favoured candidate still gets their support. So it's hard, isn't it? Because when you have a party of government that's in charge, they don't want to give up power. So it's a difficult campaign to mount to convince your single government to change the way. But I mean, if the community wants that, then you would hope that the government thinks it's their job to listen to those desires. So certainly worth still pushing for, peacefully of course, because change can happen, but it often takes a lot of community members to keep building and working to force their government to listen. But please don't stop trying.